Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new show here on CUTV called Just Hanging Out on CUTV, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out. So picture the show is kind of like the last 10 minutes of your fourth grade class when you're just trying to get through the time. So in today's show, we're going to have maybe some book reports with a good friend. We're going to do some show and tell, and then we're going to do some gossip. Not like hardcore gossip like who likes who, but what are you watching? So it's going to be a fun show, so stick around. And like any good show, you want to have some good people to start with. And I'm going to bring in one of my favorite people on earth. She is in a room with two cats, her husband. I believe there's iced tea involved, and I don't know what else is going on in Kansberg. But my good friend and yours, Miss Gloria Minutello. Gloria, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Gary?
It's so good to see you. So good to see anybody right now. I mean, it's
Oh,
so just tell everybody how you're doing through this time. And may I say you look lovely today.
oh, thank you. I wore makeup just for you. This is 2 days in a row with makeup because we had the CalU open house yesterday, and then I get to wear makeup tomorrow for the third time in a row. So we're getting good. In regards to what I've been up to, we're all working remotely. I work for CalU just like you, Gary. So that's been taking up some time, but I've been enjoying some reading, which I've never really done in my life besides in school. So that's been fun. Been trying to work out a little bit more. Some days are easier than others. And then just watching some Netflix, Hulu, movies, all that type of stuff.
Well, I also have been trying to work out. I was going to train for a walk across Hiller, Pennsylvania, on my bike. And then I put a jacket over my bike, and I haven't rode the bike, and I've gained 4 pounds. But that's neither here nor there. What I wanted to bring you on for is you said books. You enjoy reading, and I also enjoy reading. I can read, which some people have denied that I can read. But it's nice because on Instagram I put all the books I read, and then I saw you started putting your books. And I'm like, one time I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, I don't remember reading that book. Did I read that asleep? So we're going to talk books, and I saw a recent book that you read, Gloria, by one
Yeah.
of my favorite comedians, Miss Tina
Oh,
Fey.
yeah. So actually, because I like visuals, this is what the book cover looks like. Um, which I didn't know she was from Philly, so that was actually a good opening. But she goes through her life in regards to basically her being born up until 30 Rock, the TV show she produced, and talks about her time on SNL and Mean Girls and um, living outside of Philadelphia, which from Pittsburgh is hard to hear. But we love her, and we all have friends in the Philly area that we love as well. But yeah, it was a good book, easy read. Definitely, if you're a fan of hers, read it. If you're not, I would read it anyways, just because she talks a lot in regards to women working in comedy and showbiz and producing, where women don't always have the upper hand in that. So it was cool to hear from her point of view.
And I believe she was the head writer of SNL for a few years before she appeared on the show, and that's just a grinder of a profession right there.
Correct. She did not actually like to be on the show, and then she did update, and then she talks about the whole Sarah Palin improv that she did, her impersonation, and how she hates doing impersonations, and how they basically said like you're going to do it. So yeah, it talks about her time on SNL for sure.
So if you were to give this a rating, how many library cards out of 10 at the Gloria Minutello Library would you give it?
Library cards, that's throwing it back. I'd probably say an 8 or 9. Personally, I'm more of an Amy Poehler fan.
Oh.
Book I read prior to Tina Fey's, and I just love her. She is brilliant. She's spunky. She talks very unfiltered and about really anything. Like she has a chapter on tipping your waiters and your waitresses. So that was a good read. I would 100% say both are good books. Both are good people. If you like showbiz and comedy, I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan. So that's really why I bought her book. But also shout out to them doing a reunion on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that. That's how I'll be spending my Thursday night. But both of those books were really good. So.
And speaking of Amy Poehler, a lot of people don't realize this, and maybe you don't know. One of her first acting jobs was on Arrested Development with her then boyfriend and future ex-husband. I can't think of his name. His character's name's Joe Bluth, but if you haven't seen Arrested Development, go back and look at her brilliant work in that show.
And her ex-husband's name was Will Arnett, who also created the Lego movie.
I thought you were going to say he created Legos, and I was about to just have my mind blown. This interview was going to go in a completely different way. So that's 2 books. So that's 20 library cards. How many library cards out of 20?
So I've read, my goal for 2020, because my mom will attest, I hated reading growing up. I'm pretty sure they used to do, I don't know what it was called, but you had to do a test to see where your reading point was for like what color library book you could get back in the day. And I didn't really even do the test, and I tested very low, and I just hated reading. But now as an adult, I realize there's different genres that I enjoy. So the goal was to read 6 books for 2020, and I'm on book 6, and it's only 28th. So 3 books that I really enjoy: professional development, motivation, leadership. So the first book is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. I read it. She has great resources. There's actually a workbook you can do with it. We actually read this in a book club where we got to discuss it. And so that was great. So I read that one. I also have a book by her called Daring Greatly that I have not opened yet. That's for another time. Later on in the year or in May, since we have all the time in the world. The other book that I've read is The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. I saw her actually in person. Ooh. She presented at a conference. She is hilarious, but her rule is basically just the 5-second rule, where when you need motivation, for example, she starts out with, you should set your alarm clock for whatever time you want to get up. Don't hit the snooze button. And then when you feel like you can't get up, count backwards to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because your brain constantly counts up. So you're tricking your brain to count back, and before you know it, you're doing whatever you need to do.
That sounds a lot like the plot of Inception right there, like just going backwards, or maybe Memento.
Yes. And then I read one book. I'm not going to say the title, but I'll show it because it's word. Hopefully you can figure it out. And this was, again, in the self-development help. It's basically like no other type of professional development book I've read before. It's very, I don't even know what the word to say is, but basically you saw what the title is. Think of someone writing it from that point of view. But actually it makes you think. There was a section in regards to how death changes us in life. There were examples in regards to pop culture. He talks about the Beatles and former people before the stars of the Beatles, and same with Metallica. So it's an interesting read. If you grew up in the 90s, 2000s, definitely something that I would say to read.
Well, that's excellent. I'm not going to blur it out because this is real life. This is what's happening. This is what you're reading. And the last question I have, as we're coming to the end of this, is book related.
Yes.
As you're writing your memoirs, what is the title of your autobiography? I'll give you 2. You can give us 2 working titles.
The one that I've said multiple times during this social distancing, I cannot say on air. So we'll just leave that at
We'll go with the other one.
In the beginning lyrics of Motown Philly, just don't swear. Gloria's not going to swear right now. So,
well, first of all, thank you for getting the Motown Philly song in everybody's mind right now.
You're welcome.
That's your gift to the day.
It's a good gem. But I haven't thought about that. But I do have a lot more books to read. I'm staring at 5 over here. Yeah.
Any cats or husbands in your room that you'd like to bring on camera or say hi to? Since the word is you have 27 cats. You're the cat lady.
I have 2 cats. Their names Gail and Olive. They have ran away, and so is my husband.
Oh, no.
Well, I lied. We have one. This is Olive.
Thumper.
She's not Thumper anymore. She's nice. She doesn't care for me right now. And then Gail is smaller than Olive, and she doesn't like to be held, so she will not be making an appearance because she'll probably cut me in the jugular. So
I enjoy this part of the show where Ryan just hucks cats at you. He's going to go outside and just find some random cat. So, but Gloria, It's been great chatting. You are going to always be a guest in the show. Oh, wait, do we have a Gail?
We have a Gail.
We have a Gail. So this is live. Gloria's probably going to be attacked, but
yes. So welcome to my home.
Well, Gloria, you and Ryan and the cat stay safe, and I'm sure you're going to rewatch some Letterkenny here in the next couple hours.
Pitter patter.
Pitter patter. So stay safe, everybody, and we'll be back after this commercial break.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
And welcome back to Hanging Out on CUTV, our new show where we're just going to hang out. And it's my pleasure for this second segment of the show to bring on the world's greatest graduate assistant, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Colin Kirkwood, live from Millersburg, Pennsylvania. Colin, it's so good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We've had a game show episode, but really nobody wants to step up and play me in anything. So I've been playing a lot of PS4. So hopefully somebody steps up to the challenge here. But it's good to be on this show.
Well, it's good to have you. I mean, our ratings have gone downhill, and I've been looking at them. So they've been going down, 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 and then the game shows have gone up. And it's always good to see you taking on Doug in any game. And I'm glad you got the win over Duggerstein.
He almost got me. I hit a huge home run. I think we were playing in San Diego, and that was what got the win. But he almost had me there for a minute. I was starting to sweat.
And to bring the audience up to speed, there is a very high pressure, high stakes MLB The Show League with such Caillou luminaries as myself, Colin, Matt Kiefer, Gio, Nolan, Devin, Doug. I'm forgetting like two people, right?
Josh from the Cow Time
there,
and I think there's one more that I can't think of.
Well, I know as of this this recording, this taping, I have played one game, and it was a classic game against Matt Kiefer where it came down to the last at bat, and the Brownsville Blue Sox wearing the Baltimore Orioles jerseys won by a score of 3-2 on a walk-off. So, Colin, what team are you using?
I'm actually using Kansas City. I'm a big Royals guy. I love their uniforms. I love the park. I can see the ball really well from the batter's eye, and I hit pretty well when I play home there. So that was what I had to go with.
Well, I'm going to be playing a lot of games at Kansas City now to get ready for the inevitable day when you score 40 runs on me, which is coming up. But the whole point of this show was fun. That was fun, but I kind of wanted to do some funner stuff, if that's a word. And we're kind of going back in this show. Segment 1, we had our good friend Gloria Stone talk about books. And then in the last segment, we're going to have our good friend Kayla talk about entertainment. But, Colin, we're going to bring you on for the old-fashioned show and tell. So if you have some stuff you'd like to tell us about. I know when we were just getting ready, you had a bunch of stuff you brought on. But what's the first thing you're going to show and tell us about right now?
Well, my whole entire room at home is basically just dedicated to different kind of sports memorabilia that I've collected over the years. And there's a lot of stuff in here from basketball to baseball. You really can't see too much of it right now, but I have this whole ledge above me that just has tons of different stuff that I've collected from different places I've been, whatnot, different things I've seen. But that's for a completely another day, and we don't have enough time to go over it because it goes the whole way down. But I picked some of the good stuff that I think would make a lot of impressions and people would enjoy. And the first thing that I managed to get off the wall was this signed picture to me from Pete Rose, the infamous baseball player from the Cincinnati Reds. And it says on it, to Colin, a great fan, Pete Rose.
Not only that, that's the picture of him breaking Ty Cobb's record. He hit
That's
it.
right.
He hit it off of Eric Shaw.
Super cool guy to meet. I met him back when I was actually right before going into middle school. I remember it. I was in like 5th grade, and we had to go out to Las Vegas because we were on vacation, and he was there at, oddly enough, Caesar's Palace, which is kind of funny, but that's for a different time as well. But he had a different thing. He sat down. He was doing a meet and greet with people, and I got to sit and talk to him for a while. And he gave me this, so it's been hanging on my wall ever since, and it's something really cool for any kind of baseball fan.
And I tell you what, I remember watching that game because that was one of the biggest things when he won he broke Ty Cobb's record, and then a few years later things happened, and that's a discussion for another day. But that is an awesome. The fact that you have it autographed and personalized is amazing. So that's your first thing. What else do you have for us? It's going to be hard to top because that's the all-time hit leader.
Next thing we have here, this is a hockey puck. I got this at our Hershey Bears game, and this was signed by Mike Emmerich, the legendary broadcaster. He came and he did a Hall of Fame ceremony one of the days that I was there. We used to have season tickets for a long time before I went out to school, and he was really nice. Got to sit down and talk to him for a while. Told him I was also an aspiring broadcaster. This was way before I even started here with this, so we kind of got that whole on track, but signed this puck for me. We talked about his voice in NHL, the video game, and how cool it was to record stuff for that. And it was just a really great opportunity. Had a lot of fun talking to him.
And not only that, he's a huge Pittsburgh fan. He's from the area, but I always love whenever he gets in the Pirate reference. It's been tough the last couple of years to get a good Pirate reference into the hockey games. But that's awesome. You got to meet him. And I know you have one more thing, and I know our good friend down to the hills of West Virginia will probably drive out to get this.
Buy it from me. But this last thing is pretty cool. It's kind of a mashup. I did used to like NASCAR way back in the day. I have a giant shoebox full of die casts, and this is a bigger one, a model car that I got. It's a Star Wars Episode 1 Jeff Gordon car. Super cool. It's got Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon on the front, and then different favorites on the sides like Jar Jar Binks and Darth Maul. And it's signed by Jeff Gordon on the hood.
The fact that you have Jeff Gordon's name with a Qui-Gon Jinn and a Jar Jar Binks picture on that car is amazing. I don't know. I'd have to rank that number one because that's such a random one. Pete Rose, the all-time hit leader, I'd probably put that 2, and then Mike Emmerich 3. But that's a strong 3. And I think honorable mention, we have to shout out the hat because that is Alex King's Assistant Sports Information Director's favorite hat. Would you like to give him a shout out and tell him the process that he too can wear that hat?
He too can wear that hat if he goes online and purchases one. Now that I think about it, I could have had one more cool thing that you definitely would have liked. I have a WWE Hall of Fame Ric Flair action figure with Hall of Fame induction plaque signed to me, but I didn't bring that on. I should have, but I wasn't thinking about it.
I would definitely be driving out. I'd be racing. It'd probably be like an old-fashioned cross-country cannonball run between me and our good friend Johnny driving out to see if we can get that. And to be honest with you, all this morning I was planning on having, because Colin's office is just down the hallway, and he has, 1,300 pops in his office. I was going to line them up all behind me. Have you got any new pops during the off of online during the epidemic?
I've been pretty quiet. There's a couple I'm waiting to get at some point once I start getting back on the track and getting paid again and whatnot. But there's a couple ones. The Water Boy, that's coming out. Definitely got to get that one. That'll be great. Get it from Target, I think, is where that's at. There's Happy Gilmore. Have to get that one too. Major League. Got to get Major League. Have to get Rick Vaughn. There's a lot of good ones coming.
Well, I just got in the mail last week the Arnold Palmer one, so it was going to be the only one I didn't unbox, but when it came in, the box was crushed. So I'm like, well, I've taken them all out, so I'll take this one out. And real quick, we have about a minute or two left, and this news broke late last week. We talked about it a little bit in text, but I know you have a connection to the University of Pittsburgh and Oakland, PA, but local landmark, the O, announced that it is shutting its doors.
I was just there about a month and a half before this all happened. I had friends that came out. We went to visit Oakland because my other friends have alumni parents that went to Pittsburgh as well. We went out there, walked around the campus, went there for lunch. Wish I would have known because I would have got a T-shirt when I was there. So sad. Love the chili dogs.
Yeah, this has been a rough month. We had Spuds in California close, not actually about a month and a half ago. Now the O in Pittsburgh. What was your go-to meal at the O? I know mine was always hot dog, and because you have to get the hot dog, or probably one or two, and 14 pounds of fries.
2 chili dogs and a big order of French fries and probably an iced tea. That was the way to go.
And I'm going to tell you a story that's going to blow your mind, and because we're going to keep the person's identity secret, but you know who it is. I witnessed this person, a good friend of ours, go to the O, eat 3 hot dogs and 2 large fries. And then several hours later, not actually several, like 3 hours later, we ended up in the Strip District, and he had not 1, but 2 Permane Butler sandwiches.
Oh, man.
Now, I'd like you to digest that and just walk it off, because no human should attempt that. And I know you know who it is. We're going to keep the...
I know who it is. I mean, I've tried it before. I've had 2 Permane sandwiches in one sitting, and I just immediately regretted that as soon as I was done. I can't imagine tossing a whole load of fries and hot dogs on top of that. No way.
That might be the hanging out at Cal U challenge here once we get back to opening. We might do the... or something where you just drive down Route 40 and get something from... like the Chuck Wagon, Salamone's, and the Route 40 Diner all at once. So are you up for that?
It's the gauntlet. I think we can make a good video. There's somebody in the world that can definitely beat that challenge.
Sounds good. Well, Colin, it's great seeing you again. We're going to be doing more of these. So maybe next time you're the book report, or maybe next time you're the entertainment report, or maybe there's a segment we haven't even come up with yet.
You never know, but I mean, stay tuned for more Game Time episodes. I've definitely been on Devin to try to get him to come out and maybe play some Fortnite or some 2K or whatnot, but stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more episodes of that whenever somebody decides to step to the plate. That's my call out for anybody that's in the ranks. If you're watching, step up.
Yeah, it's really weird. Whenever I turn my PlayStation 4 on and play, it's like there's a firewall whenever your name comes up. Like, I see you're on, and I'd like to participate, but it's just like, I don't know if the parental controls are on, and I'm not allowed to get beat that bad. So I'll see if I can adjust that later.
Give it a shot. You never know.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, Colin, and we'll be back after these messages with some more Hanging Out on CUTV.
Colin, what's wrong, man?
I just don't know how my family back home in Millersburg, Pennsylvania can watch our stuff down here.
Well, they could follow us on Twitter, or they could like us on Facebook.
Yeah, but what about our sports? How can they watch those?
They could watch it live on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Hello, welcome back to Hanging Out on CUTV. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and once again, this is a show for fun. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. In the first segment, we talked books and things of that nature with our good friend Gloria Minutello, and then in the second segment, we talked show and tell with the graduate assistant of the Millennium, Mr. Colin Kirkwood. But we're going to bring in, right now, we're so excited for this, live, and we also needed to get ratings back up in Munhall, Pennsylvania, our entertainment expert, Kayla. Kayla! Welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
How are things going in Munhall?
They're going pretty smoothly. Kind of boring, kind of getting sick of quarantine and all.
Yeah, that's been the theme. Everyone I've talked to is like, we're getting a little tired of this, but there are good things about it. I learned how to cut my hair, which is good. So I may never have to pay for another haircut again, and been able to binge watch a lot of things. And you're kind of the entertainment, movie, and TV show expert around the stations. So I wanted to pick your brain today and tell us, Kayla, what's the first thing, if I'm sitting at home and I have Netflix and Hulu or Amazon, what should I click on first?
Well, I recently became interested in this new show. It's called Tiger King on Netflix. I don't know if you heard about it yet, but that show is wild.
I have no idea. I think you've made this up.
I can't even explain it, honestly, because I can just go on, and you just can't understand it. You have to watch it for yourself. It is ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you watched all the episodes?
No, I am currently on episode 6 in the middle of it. I believe there are 8 episodes now. I think they show new ones weekly, although I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure either. I know that they finished the documentary, and then they added it was like an interview show that they just shot. But if you're on episode 6, let me tell you, you have a wild couple of hours ahead of you.
Sure. Like, I'm excited to watch it. I mean, like, it's just so, like, interesting to watch. It's very wild. Like, the dude, like, has, like, 2 husbands. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I'm like, what? Like, what? He, like, owns all these tigers, too. I'm like, there's not even enough room for all those tigers. Like, how does he do this?
Well, when I first started watching it was on a recommendation, of course, because on social media, everybody was talking about it. Then a friend of mine said, you really need to watch it. And I was like 18, 20 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't think my mouth, I'm like, this is real life. This has to be a scripted show. So,
Yes.
so far, let's talk, because, I mean, we don't have to, it's not going to be a spoiler, but because it's been on the internet all over the place. But Carol Baskin, not exactly a nice woman. What's your thoughts of Carol Baskin?
Well, my first impression when I watched, like, the first couple episodes, I think she's, like, psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
She's very strange. Just, like, her personality, like, bothers me for some reason. Like, I just want to, like, I don't know, punch her or something.
Do you think it has anything to do with probably she killed her first husband and fed him to tigers?
I'm not sure if I got that far yet. I may have in episode 6, but as far as I heard from, like, social media and all that too, yeah, I don't find any reason why they wouldn't doubt that. I think she did kill her husband.
Now, there is a popular theory that I have seen recently, and I'm going to try and explain it and get your opinion without spoiling anything, because, like I said, you're in for an amazing last 2 or 3 hours, and it's good that that you weren't watching this while you're in school, because you probably would not leave your dorm for like 3 weeks. You would miss school. You'd just be like walking around muttering like, what has happened? But
Absolutely.
So, you know that Carol Baskin, her first husband gone. We don't know what happened. Probably fed to a tiger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you met Jeff Lowe yet in the show?
I'm trying to remember. What does he look like?
He always wears Affliction T-shirts and leather jackets. You may not. He comes on the last couple episodes. He kind of like is an investor later. He has a younger wife, but he has like a patchy gray beard.
Doesn't he try to buy the place?
That's one.
Like, yes. Okay, so I do know him.
So what you're going to want to do is, this is a very popular thing. I'm like, when I first saw it in writing, I'm like, nah, this isn't possible. But if you look at the wedding picture of Carol Baskin and her first husband, and then you look at a picture of Jeff Lowe, it could be the same person.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
And the one last thing about Tiger King before we go on to other stuff, because even though Tiger King, that's probably the biggest thing right now to watch, have you decided what Halloween costume you're going to do for Halloween? Because it has to be a Tiger King costume, because I think everyone this Halloween is going to be a Tiger King person.
Oh my god. I can either just like go as a ordinary tiger, or I'll even dress like Joe Exotic. I'll find a way. I'll get like the tiger print, get the hat. Like he always wears like that leather jacket. I'll get piercings going on throughout my ears.
Well,
get the mustache going.
Well, I know whenever we start back Caton's Corner, he's probably going to want to recreate the when I saw a tiger video that Joe Exotic sang.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking as going as Joe Exotic, or I also was thinking the one producer. I can't think of his name, but he always wore the fedora, and he smoked little cigars. So those are.
Oh yeah.
So okay, you're gonna have to, like I said, I know, and we're gonna book it right now. Caton's Corner Halloween. You're gonna have to give the how-to of make a successful Tiger King Halloween party. But
yes,
enough about Joe Exotic and everything in Oklahoma. What is a second thing? Once you've binge watched Tiger King, what else should the people out there be watching?
There's this one show on Netflix that I find like really interesting. I've been watching it for a while now. It's Nailed It. It's like a baking show, and it has 3 contestants. All of them, they suck at baking, and they have to like recreate these like masterpieces from like professional bakers, and it fails miserably every time. It's very entertaining to watch.
I have not seen this show, so it's called Nailed It?
Yes, there are 4 seasons now. They just came out with the 4th one. And they have like holiday versions and all that if you want to really get into it.
Well, people, if you're looking for me this weekend, I'm going to be watching Nailed It. And you said it's a baking show, and the question I have to ask is, I'm sure you've seen our good friend Johnny's cooking show on CUTV, Johnny's Country Kitchen. There's a new episode coming out as we're shooting this. It's on my other computer editing. Yeah.
Ooh.
He's making hot wings and French fries, which is going to be fantastic. But how do you think he would do on the show Nailed It?
I think Johnny would, he would come out with something. He would probably be like the type of person that like comes out with this masterpiece of like, oh wow, you totally nailed it, Johnny.
Well,
He'll end up winning the show.
I'm going to have to give him a little link to whenever they cast new shows. You're wondering why, if you're watching at home, I didn't switch back over to Kayla. Her video is froze, but we still have her audio. And we only have a minute or two left, so you're going to be stuck looking at me. Maybe I'll mime the voices. But what's the third show, Kayla? Or a movie? We've been talking shows. What have you discovered any new movies or any old movies that are getting you through this time?
Movies. There was this one movie I just watched. It was really funny with Ryan Reynolds. I think it's called Six Underground.
Okay.
I don't know if I would describe it as funny, but it was a very good movie, very action-packed. I don't want to get into too much detail because I don't want to spoil anything, but Ryan Reynolds is a great actor. He did a very good job playing the part. Let me just say that. The movie is very interesting if you want to get into it, but basically all I say is that it's like these people that kind of fake their death and they end up fighting crime.
Oh.
Because you can't get like arrested or anything because you're technically like dead in quotation marks.
Okay. What's it called again?
Six Underground.
Okay.
That is also on Netflix.
All right. I'm going to turn my phone off this weekend, and I'm just going to. I may rewatch Tiger King now that we've talking about it. I've watched it like 3 weeks ago, and I'm jonesing for some more craziness. I need that kind of craziness in my life.
It's just that interesting, honestly.
Well, how if the semester hadn't been interrupted and we were all still at the media suite, how quickly do you think we all would have watched it, or would have we just group watched it on one of the computers?
I'm pretty sure we would have finished it like within a day or two, honestly.
Oh, I agree with you, Kayla. And again, like I said, we're about done here, and your video froze. We had your audio fine, and glad you're doing well up home in Munhall. And if you'd like to say anything, I'm interviewing another person from Munhall later. If you want to talk, say why you're better at Munhall stuff than he is, our good friend Steve Ruffing. So now's your time to talk a little smack on him.
Talk a little smack on Steven.
I know it's like twisting your arm.
Well, Steven, I do want to see your new puppy. And I know Jared got a new dog too, Finn. He's very adorable. But all I gotta say is that I'm running the show here now, so take a little few steps back there.
I will definitely make sure he knows to A, show Jack, and B, not to go to Munhall without getting permission. But Kayla, thanks for joining us on Just Hanging Out. We'll be back next time on Just Hanging Out on CUTV. I'm Gary Smith.